I already know they're gonna say yes because they said yes to my 8 to 12 other trial closes that I already asked earlier in the presentation and earlier in the conversation. So by the time I get to the final ask, I already know it's a lay down. I already know it's a yes. I already know they're moving forward. The 7 C's of sales. How many of us want to improve our sales? How many of us want to get to another level when we sit down with a client and or when we sit down with an agent? Because by the way, all 7 of these C's do not just apply to you interacting with a client and influencing a client to move forward. All 7 of these C's apply to you interacting with an agent and influencing an agent to move forward. It applies to both. And they're in no particular order, but all 7 C's are incredibly important. Number 1 is connection. People do business with people they like. I remember going to a car dealership and I was buying my wife a Range Rover, and this car salesman comes up to me. He was a good guy, takes me, we start looking at different Range Rovers. We finally found the right Range Rover. We said, all right, yeah, let's go talk numbers. Let's discuss everything. I want to see what you guys have. I want to see what we're going to end up paying for this vehicle. So we sit down and I said, you know what? I never make purchases on the first day, no matter what. And so I'm going to go home and I'm going to call you tomorrow. And all of a sudden he said, okay, sounds good. And then he goes and gets his sales manager. His sales manager comes up and tries to hard sell me. He's going to try to hard sell me because he knows that the likelihood of me coming back onto the lot is 0. And that's what they're trained to do. But if I walked onto the lot, it's because I'm ready to buy. And now it's just finding the right vehicle with the right numbers that makes me want to buy. I was going to buy that vehicle the next day. But I decided to go to someone else and get the car from someone else that was an hour and a half away from where that dealership was, and even further, simply because I didn't like the guy. So what's my whole point? You think the product matters so much? It does, but what matters more is, do they like you? You think the product matters a lot? Sure does, but what matters more is, do they trust you? So as long as they like you and they trust you, there's an extremely high likelihood, as long as you apply the other 6 C's, that they're going to do business with you. You got to build a connection. Typically what I like to do is, going into an appointment, I want to find everything that I possibly can out about the individual that I'm going to sit down with. So when I go into that appointment, I already know how I'm going to build a connection. I already know how I'm going to build a relationship. And I already know in advance how I'm going to make Alberto my friend. Because if I make him my friend and I show competence, I also am going to get a client. I already know that. I'm looking to make friends. I'm looking to build connections. Number 2, credibility. People want to know that they won't lose money. People want to know that they're not going to lose money. So what credibility are they looking at? They're looking at the credibility of the company that their money is going to be with. If I'm going to invest money with a company, I want to make sure that I'm investing money with a company that has a track record. Yes or yes? Are any of you guys going to just go put money with some random company that you've never heard of? No. So you want to make sure that it's a company with credibility. So what am I doing? If I'm selling F&G, what am I going to do? I'm going to show F&G's credibility. If I'm selling North American, I'm going to show the credibility of North American. If I'm selling American Equity, I'm going to go show the credibility of American Equity. I'm going to go to their credibility stats and the credibility page on their website, because I want the person in front of me to know that their money is with an established carrier that has been around for 50, 100, 200 plus years, and they're cranking, and they got billions of dollars in assets and billions of dollars under management. And I want them to know that I'm their representative. I'm not the one sitting there managing their money. The carrier is that I just gave all this credibility to. I want that credibility to show through. But also me as an individual, as a professional, I need to establish credibility where I edify myself in a humble manner that makes people think this is a credible guy who knows what he's doing. So I got to build credibility, not just in the carrier that their money is going to be with, but also in myself, so that way they want to do business with me. Number 3, confidence. People want their money with someone who believes in their own ability. If I hear any ounce of doubt on your voice, I'm not doing business with you. I'm paying attention to your confidence. Do you know you're the best? Not in an arrogant way. When people sit down with you, do they feel that you trust you? And if the answer to that question is no, they're not going to put their money with you. They're not going to do business with you. They're not going to allow you to take them through the system. Your confidence is everything. Matt, where does confidence come from? Preparation. The more prepared you are, the more confident you are. The more confident you are, the more people will trust your ability. Number 4, conviction. People buy your belief in the product, not the product. Conviction comes from believing in what we do. Conviction comes from the crusade. Conviction comes from understanding. Have you done the due diligence and read the books on how our products work? Have you done your due diligence so you have confidence in how our products work? Because here's the deal. Those who are convinced will be convincing, and those who believe will be believed. When you are convicted about what you do, when you are convicted about where you're going, when you are convicted about your ability to get someone a result, when you are convicted about the products and services that we offer, that conviction is a transfer of energy. And influence is a transfer of energy and a transfer of belief. So when you are convicted, you are transferring energy, you are transferring belief, and that transfer of belief and energy is what leads to them wanting to buy. Do you believe in what you're doing, or are you just doing it to get a check? Do you believe in the crusade, or are you just doing it for cash flow? That's going to show through in your appointments. This is why telling your 2-minute story of why you believe in what we do, and you believe in what we stand for, and you believe in the difference that we're making, and why you decided to get in the industry, because you wanted to make sure that not a single family got left untaken care of, that not a single family goes on unprotected because of maybe your story and what you went through. This is why it's so important to tell your 2-minute crusade story about why you were in our industry, why you were in our business, and why you believe in our services. That conviction needs to show through. Number 5, competence. People want to do business in an expert. Do you talk like an expert? Do you communicate like an expert? Do you carry yourself and dress like an expert? Do you have the haircut of an expert? Is your beard groomed like an expert? Real conversation. When you show up to an appointment, do you look like the greatest financial advisor on Wall Street? No? Then good luck having people give you that size of money. People say, don't judge a book by its cover, but what's the first thing that everyone does? Look you up and down. I was on an appointment earlier today with a successful individual, makes $5 million a year. First thing that he noticed was my watch. He said, is that the green ombre or the flat green? He said, I've been looking to get that exact watch. First thing that he noticed. I'm not saying go buy a watch you cannot afford. Okay? But what I am saying is that you at least have to look the part and come across as an expert in your field. Are you well groomed? Are you dressed professionally? Is your lighting clear? Is your camera clear? Do you come across as an expert in your field? Yay or nay? And if the answer to that question is no, people are not going to do business with you. Dress like you own the bank, not like you need a loan from one. 6, care. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Do you genuinely care? Because people can pick up on it. You ever met somebody and you walked away from the conversation and you just thought to yourself, I don't know what it is. I just didn't like that person. Anybody ever felt that way when you met somebody? One of the reasons is you picked up on their vibration, their vibe, and that stems from what they're thinking. Every time you think a thought, it sends a vibration through your body, and that vibration puts off an energy. And that energy that you're putting off is either a selfish one, a negative one, a toxic one, or a selfless one, a positive one, an encouraging one, or a loving one. And it all comes down to the way you think. It all comes down to the way you operate. And so when you genuinely care about other people and you're thinking about how can I help this person, you put off the vibration of positive energy, selfless energy, an energy that people want to do business with. They don't feel like a transaction. They feel important. They feel heard. They feel seen. And then last but not least, number 7 is close. You have to ask for the close. 60 to 70% of sales don't happen because the agent did not ask. Throughout your sales presentation, you need to be asking for the close, asking for the close, asking for the close. A whole bunch of test closes to see where they're at. Are they locked in? Are they 100% in? So throughout my entire sales presentation, I'm asking little questions because A, I'm trying to get buy-in, but B, I'm also testing the waters because when I go for the final ask, I want to make sure that they're 100% all in. So what I'll do is throughout my sales presentation, I'll ask about 8 to 15 different closing questions where I confirm that they are bought into the service I'm trying to offer them So when I go in for the final asking of the sale, I already know they're gonna say yes because they said yes to my 8 to 12 other trial closes that I already asked earlier in the presentation and earlier in the conversation. So by the time I get to the final ask, I already know it's a laydown. I already know it's a yes. I already know they're moving forward. And if we master the art of selling, then our business will grow, our production will grow, our retention will grow, everything about our business will grow. I want you to do some homework, do an audit, look at your business, and you need to have a serious look with yourself in the mirror and say, where do I need to improve? How do I need to get better? How do I show up better for my people so I can really start to get more out of the hours in the day?